And our last speaker for the morning session is Councilman Joe Cimperman. Councilman Cimperman has been a passionate advocate for this initiative from the beginning. He's educated me on Cleveland's history, especially the history of the Near West Side, his family's history as immigrants and as migrants and as newcomers to this community. And it's because of his passion that we have been able to establish not only the welcoming hub here in the Huntington Bank Building, but a network of satellite partners throughout the city that includes not only University Circle, Positively Cleveland Visitor Center, but also the Ohio City Near West Development Corporation, and the county library system and the Cleveland Public Library system, so that newcomers, wherever they come into our region, will have access to the resources they need and the information they need to get connected to opportunities and to the community. Councilman Cimperman.
Good morning, everyone, to our amazing dais that spoke so eloquently, and to the Consul General from the Republic of Slovenia, Consul General Juris Mauk, who is my personal hero and representative of the international Slovenian community here. Dobrodošli u naši sredi. Everyone, welcome to our region and our community. Truly. The last time I had the privilege of being with Consul General Juris Mauk was when Slovenia was winning the World Cup and other nations that we won't speak of stole the game from us. But we're all immigrants here and migrants here in Cleveland. I want to just quickly remind Mr. Ratner, though I know he needs no reminder, 8 years ago when he sat me down and told me that the salvation of this city would come through people coming here who didn't speak English as a first language. He invited Mr. Richard Florida to come, and he wowed Cleveland with what it meant to have the artist and artisan economy, but such an incredible portion of that was the immigrant economy, and so here we are today. I remember, too, being with Steve Kaufman at Cleveland Hopkins Airport during a troubled time in the last decade, when it was the Jewish Federation of Cleveland that was evacuating people who were impacted in the Albanian region during the Balkan Wars, who were Kosovars. I thought it was interesting. As a kid who didn't speak English growing up, Steve and his awesome team at the Jewish Federation were resettling people who were days away from going to a refugee camp or being pillaged or worse. And here's a Jewish American helping Albanian Serbs and Croatians who were Muslim resettle in a Slovenian neighborhood that I knew and loved. I thought that was very interesting in terms of what it means for us to be there for each other. I think about the event that Mayor Jackson hosted last year with the librarian community in Cleveland, a strong 200-person community that is growing on the Near West Side. And how after an hour and a half of being lectured in Liberian by one of the chiefs who came here, I learned that really what he was telling me was that it was up to my generation and my daughter's generation to welcome the next generation of librarians. And in Cleveland style, from librarians to librarians, here we go, figuring out how we make this accessible in the bloodstream of the neighborhoods of Cleveland. When I think about what we have here with our county exec, our mayor, and our council president, we really are in Cleveland's second renaissance. And when you hear Exec Fitzgerald talk about the moral imperative for why we're here today, it's to give other people that momentary chance at the love story that the Global Cleveland Initiative means. I think about the fact that in my family, we didn't speak English until I was 4 years old. I think about how I really shouldn't be here. I think about how there's probably people out there whose parents helped my parents to feel welcome and settled here, and it's why I'm able to pay a small amount of debt back to this amazing, beautiful, international capital of love and immigration known as Cleveland. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story. My father went to Europe as a bachelor, thinking that he was going to have a good time with his friends. In 1960, he got on the wrong bus, and he met a beautiful woman, but it was the wrong tour bus. So he decided to stay, and he ditched his friends, and he and the woman who would become my mother decided that they were going to have a great time for 2 weeks, but not even exchange addresses because, let's be honest, he wasn't going to leave the States and she wasn't going to leave Slovenia. 5 years later, she got resettled here to open up a travel company without realizing that he was actually here in the first place. And he walked by 2 days before Christmas Eve and realized that that woman was the woman of his dreams that he had taught himself to forget, and he proposed to her. And she said yes. And my mother reminded me of that story every single time we came down Euclid Avenue, because she told me, but for immigration and love, Joe, you would be but a speck of dust in the universe. And so today, we thank Beju Shaw, his amazing leadership. We thank Kosa Razvi. We thank Fran DiDonato and all our corporate sponsors. But let's agree on something as we leave. Maybe English isn't a first language for the people who are coming here, but after today, Cleveland will be their first language. Thank you.